Today I'm going to show you how I create custom digital long arm quilt files for your robotics machine. Now this video is only going to be about the programs that I like to use, so that way you can come back and refer why am I using two programs. But I'm going to go in depth a little bit of why I like to use these programs. But first and foremost, no matter what, you will need the program called Art and Stitch. Now, when you open up Art and Stitch, this is what it's going to look like. Now, it could also look like this without the grid. And how to turn that on and off, just real quick, is here by this 100% here at the top, you will see 3D and then a grid. If you click that, your grid pops up, which I really like to work on the grid a lot. So every time when I open up Art and Stitch, the grid is always available for me. Now, why do you need Art and Stitch? Well, that is because when you go to File here at the top left and you either hit Save or Save As, doesn't matter which, under Files of Type, if you open this, you will see a ton of different machines available to save as. And I'm pretty sure majority, if not all, are in there. I don't know every single long arm available for a robotics machine, but they should all be in there. And this is why you need this program. Now, I do have a Bernina long arm machine, so I did get this program for free when I purchased the robotics machine. So I do have the plus version. And what the plus version is you get all of the quilt formats, and you can also create custom digital embroidery formats. So you can do both long arm and embroidery on the version that I have. Now, if you did not purchase a Bernina long arm machine, or if for some reason they stop bundling it together, I don't know if they will or will not, I will put a link down below in the description of the Art and Stitch website. And fair warning, you may have a slightly mild heart attack of the price. I can't tell you exactly how much it is because when I am viewing this, it's actually on sale. So I don't know what the real normal price is, but I will have a link for it down below. Yes, it is kind of it I wouldn't say kind of, it is pretty expensive. But to my knowledge, there is no other program out there that can file, save as, and save it as any, if not all, long arm file formats that are out there. So this is why this is very important. Now, you only could use just Art and Stitch, and you could design and draw and do everything in Art and Stitch. So you could just buy this program and be done. But I like to use as well Adobe Illustrator, and this is what Adobe Illustrator looks like when I open it up. I think I'm on the 2021 edition because me and Adobe products have a little bit of a love-hate relationship when there's new updates. But I have used Adobe Illustrator for many, many years. So because I am very familiar with this program, I prefer to draw and design and create different things. And I will show you just like the little line work. So I created this weird, ugly line. But I find it so much easier to draw and create things. Now, I am also using a Wacom tablet to freely draw. You can use a, computer mouse. It's fine. I've done it for many years. The Wacom tablet is a splurge, a very large splurge, and a very large convincing of husband buying it for me. But I love the Adobe on how everything works. Plus, if you go over here and you're like, oh, I'm going to use the pen tool, and if you highlight, this is the pen tool. If you are doing something weird and you're like, why is it doing this? I wanted a straight line, and you had no clue how to use Adobe Illustrator, you could go to YouTube, and search Adobe Illustrator pin tutorials. And there's probably millions, if not billions, of tutorials in general on how to use this program alone. So that is what I love, is that there is a massive support behind this program here. Now the downside is I drew this flower and it's great, it's lovely, but I want to go file, save. I cannot save it as, for instance, flow. You'll see I have one of flower ideas. Dot BQM. BQM is the Bernina Longarm file, and just so if you don't know that, or you don't have a Bernina, if you go to Art and Stitch file, Bernina is .bqm. So if I were to go here and hit file save .bqm, it's not going to work. It doesn't work that way. And I won't get very computer nerdy, but it just doesn't work, okay? It won't work. It won't happen. So this is why I use to and also need to, and why you also need Art and Stitch. So once again, no matter what, you need Art and Stitch. Now throughout this series, I am going to show you how I design things on Adobe Illustrator and then transfer it to Art and Stitch. And here is a little sneak peek. I have created on Adobe Illustrator this flower. I like to call it a meadow flower garden. I don't have a name yet. It's probably going to be like meadow or something meadow. But I actually designed this in Adobe Illustrator and I transferred it to Art and Stitch. And here's the grid, but it's not as pretty, so I turned the grid off. And once you put this in, you're going to click some buttons, which I'll show you throughout this tutorial. And if you hit play, it's going to show you how your machine is going to stitch it out. And it's pretty cool. Now I can go ahead and make it a little bit faster. Oops. Or not. There it goes. Okay. So that is how that is going to stitch out. And this is a big file format, and this is all custom. I designed that all myself, and I haven't stitched it out yet, so I don't know if it's good or if it's going to need some tweaking here and there. But this is something that you guys can do. And this is why I love creating digital longarm files and why I love using Adobe Illustrator, because here, this is all hand drawn. So on Adobe Illustrator, I like to use this pen tool and I like to draw and create weird things. Like we can do a basic flower. I'm just going real fast. And it's like, boom, we have a flower. That one's a little ugly and needs some help and work, but you know, you could do really cool things. Another thing is, say you want to do a 1/4 inch filler. If you show your grid, mine is already set at a 1/4 inch. If you get a pen tool and you go File, Snap to Grid, or View, excuse me, View, then Snap to Grid, what's nice is you can create line work, and here there we go, we have 1/4 inch line spacing. So if you're a little busy and you're like, I don't want to fill this in, you can design it and boom, you can have it filled in. And you can make it repeat. Now this one actually won't repeat or is not repeatable because the way I designed it, but as a quick tutorial, if I go up, designing that right there, right here, that becomes a repeatable image. And I can show you because if I do Control C for copy and Control F, and move this over, boom, it will line up right there and keep adding. So you can create little shortcuts for you for your long arm quilting needs, whatever you need or whatever you like. And what's also nice is if you don't like this straight blunt and you want it nice and pretty curved, here I'm going to zoom in. What you can do is go here to the direct selection tool and these little circles, boom. Now, well, that's going to be a tutorial on how to fix that later, but you can do creative things. You can do this side, or you can do, once again, both. There's lots of cool, fun ways to do and to connect and do everything, and it's really endless. Now, going back to Art and Stitch, Art and Stitch is also a great program because over here you can create echoes very easily, which we'll get into in this series. Also, here at the top, they have nice functions of like the magic circle, the magic square, magic rays, and we'll get into those way later on in the video. But they also have like mirrors, flips, which this right here at the top, these 90 degrees, mirrors, flips, Illustrator can do, but there's some programs in here that Illustrator can do as well, but here in Art and Stitch, it's a little more simpler and more for long arm quilting, so it connects easily. Plus, you can also create fills, motif fills. So Art and Stitch is a really great program, but if you have been using Adobe Illustrator for tons of years or for quite a while, then you are going to love the method the way I do. Now, if you are new and you're starting with Art and Stitch and you have no clue and you're lost and confused, you may also prefer getting Adobe Illustrator because, like I said, there's millions, if not billions, of tutorials on YouTube for just this program in itself. But once again, and lastly, just to end this video, no matter what, you will need Art and Stitch just for this file save as, and there you go. You'll have all of those to save with. And plus, you also need it because when we add this file in, it doesn't have a start and stop. So, for instance, you're going to see all these little tiny dots. This red one here in the far right, that's the end. The green is the start. When you design it in Adobe Illustrator, it's not going to know what is the start, what is the end. So this program does take your image and then you'll click some buttons and it will create this automatically and you'll have your start and stop. So that way, once again, when you hit play, you'll see it stitch out. But yeah, you guys have already seen that. So there we go. So here's why I'm going to be using two programs throughout this series, but if you can, please take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned because we will have our very first tutorial, and that will be how I created the Bohemian Circle digital placemats one coming right up. So please stay tuned and be on the lookout for that. But until then, I will see you next time.